Greetings and welcome to Zord's Planetary Space Program, episode 36, the final episode. We are picking up right where we left off. The crew of Bill, Jeb and Bob has left the Joule system and is on their way to Eeloo. After quite a bit of waiting, we arrive at Eeloo and are now trying to enter its sphere of influence. As you can see, the trajectory, which is predicted, is one of these really terrible ones where you're coming in a polar orbit. And I want to fix this. I want to have a somewhat equatorial orbit before landing. So let's do it. First things first, we're going to have to get ourselves a captured orbit. Hello, Eeloo. I haven't seen you before. So, hello, Eeloo. As I said, first we need to capture, and this is going to be a regular bird. Eeloo is an atmosphere-less body, and we are coming in very close to the surface here. I'm gonna pitch the rocket up just a little bit so that we don't crash into the surface, because we're very close. We shouldn't crash. But yeah, okay, so that camera turning tells us we are captured. Good. Now we're gonna plan a maneuver way out here. And this is how it turns out. We are doing almost 90-degree plane change. So we are leaving Eeloo behind. Goodbye, see you soon. And we're gonna do a very small, actually, correction, only a few meters per second, but it's going to turn the orbit as much as we want it to, because a plane change requires less energy the less energy you have. So doing the plane change way out at near the edge of the sphere of influence is really a good idea. So now we need to go back to Eeloo. Hello. Not really hard, seeing that it's gravity, and get ourselves a circular orbit. So this is how you correct a hyperbolic polar orbit to a circular, almost equatorial orbit using the least amount of delta V, at least as far as I know. So we have our periapsis quite low on the night side, and we need to now lower our apoapsis and turn the orbit around so that our periapsis is on the day side and just above the surface. So we're going to do a suicide maneuver like thing here. So we are doing this burn, it takes a few seconds, there we go. And adjust it a little more, so we don't want to come in, it's almost too close to the Terminator, but I think it's gonna work. So separate the craft, and yeah, I forgot, I was not supposed to land the tanker, so the tanker is going to be called tanker, and it's going to raise its orbit a little bit. There we go, we don't have to worry about it. That was a minor blunder. Okay, we are approaching the surface. Flying through the darkness. We are gonna wait till we have sunrise. There we go, tiny sunrise. Probably really cold anyway. We're gonna wait until sunrise until we do anything, and we cross the 1 times time acceleration barrier. Time to get ready for landing. Putting up a maneuver node so that we see roughly when we need to start our burn. And actually, I'm gonna put it a little later. We want to land close to the dirt patch so that we can take surface samples of the surface below the snow or whatever it is. So we're gonna try to do that. Yeah, we need to brake faster. Well, the maneuver node doesn't matter anymore. We're just gonna land wherever we land, and looks like we are gonna land inside the dirt patch. Yes, pretty much unavoidable. Get the legs down. Actually, we are stopping quite well. Right, let's turn this over. Actually, we don't need all the thrust we have. We're still running on nukes. There goes the tanker, and we have the shadow over there. Good. Let's brake, and now we just need to stick the landing. So I think we can turn the lights off. And come on, don't fall over. It's a bit of a slope. And touchdown! Great! Great work. So let's get the ladder down, let's get the kerbals out and do all these shenanigans. Yeah. So this is the first time I have legitimately landed on Eeloo. I have been here once, but I used infinite fuel, so it doesn't count. And yeah, let's enjoy the stay, guys, because you're gonna be here a while. Sorry to tell you, but the transfer windows from Eeloo is not the most common thing. So let's get the flag down. Very important. This is the final flag we need to get. And let's get the publicity shots, and let's go get the skis. Let's get them skis. And Kerbin, the only place you can ski is on the North or South Pole, but now you're on a planet the size of the moon, covered with snow. Well, that's not that far away. Yeah, you can walk that distance. That's not a problem. Not a problem at all. So let's get inside, and while these guys do that, I'm going to plan the return home. First of all, we need to know when the window is, and judging by these times, not something that Kernel Alarm Clock can answer. So setting up a raw time alarm, and we wait. We wait a very long time. And now that a very long time has passed, I'm going to well, first thing we're going to do is launch and rendezvous with the tanker in orbit. So get the ladder up and lift off. We should have no problem whatsoever getting into orbit. We have most of the fuel left. And yeah, by now I believe the guys are thoroughly tired of skiing and taking experiments and experimental skiing. That's about what they had to do during this time. So we have orbit. We're just gonna tweak, put a maneuver, and we're gonna execute the maneuver when we get there. There's the tanker flying past us. It looks like we're missing it, and we actually are. So we're gonna orbit around and catch up to it, and probably gonna have to do a few more adjustments on the way. Actually, no, it looks kind of good. So we are approaching the tanker a bit later on the dark side. We cancel the velocities, and a bit later the tanker, because the tanker is more maneuverable, is coming into dock. And we have docked. Let's admire it. And that looks good. I hope the engines on the lander is not aligned in a way that makes them cook the fuel tanker. I don't think that's the problem. That's going to be a problem, but we'll see. So let's throw out a maneuver. No, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good, but this looks better because now we have a curved encounter. Okay, so now we just need to execute this rather large maneuver, and of course we're gonna have to warp around the planet because everything interesting on Eeloo happens on the night side for some reason. Well, except the landing, fortunately. So okay, let's check the logs. No tank cooking going on. That's good. So I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy a long burn, but you don't have to because it's already done. Yeah, that was a very nice edit if you ask me. But of course we're not done, because we're never done, because I can never execute these maneuvers exactly how I planned it to. So we're gonna have to do the good old anti-radial burn for a few meters per second. So let's match these orbits up. See there, almost. Yeah, that looks good, right? No, a bit more. That's good. I'm starting to realize that this is not the best technique, but that should be close enough. No, come on. Is that good enough? I think so. Let's check it out. We have a curved encounter, so it's good enough. And well, the next thing we need to do should be to exit Eeloo. So let's do that. Whoosh! Yeah, okay, so we have plenty of fuel in every tank except the main fuel tank, the orange one. That one's empty. that's not a problem because, as I said, everything else is full. So yeah, we're not going to ditch the tanker yet. Next up, we're going to try to put a maneuver node and maybe some corrections. But I figured out that the best place for a correction burn is quite close to Kerbin. So let's just wait. And this is where we encounter one of the problems you could have with Kerbal Space Program. Even at 100,000 times time acceleration times 4 times time acceleration, this is taking quite a long time. So we're almost passing the orbit of Jool. And yeah, can't really do anything much but sit here and wait. Waiting a significantly longer time than we were waiting at the launch window from the surface of Eeloo. So this is taking quite a while. Yeah, passing the orbit of Dres now. And we're of course accelerating. Or not really, because we're not feeling any G-force. How does this work, by the way? We are picking up speed, but we're not accelerating. Or maybe we are, but I'm gonna have to think about this. Anyway, we have a maneuver to execute, a very small maneuver. And yeah, that's what you want. You want the target orbit to basically freak out, because this means you're going very close, you're basically getting a gravity assist. And in this case we're getting a gravity assist out of the system, but that won't matter because we're going to pass through the atmosphere of Kerbin, so it's going to work out. So let's keep falling towards the sun and hope we hit Kerbin on the way down. That's basically what we're doing. Yeah, we should almost be able to see it now. Actually, I should try to see if we can fix the orbit up a little more, and it turns out yes, but very little. Just a few more. There we go. That's probably as good as it's gonna get. My original plan was to try and get a reverse gravity assist of the Mun, but it didn't work out, so we're gonna have to go for error capture instead. So we're almost there, We should almost be able to see it now. So we can... no, but we're really close. Just need to know where to look. So let's do the SOI shift. Carefully. Really carefully. Here we go. So let's check out the periapps. What adjustments do we need to make? Actually, none. I think this, by random chance, turned out to be pretty much the optimal altitude to have a periapps for this kind of maneuver. And hello Kerbin, it's been a long time. A very long time actually. But it's nice to see a planet with more than 2 colors. I mean, Leif is blue and all, but it's not green, it's just blue and brown. Kerbin has 4 colors actually. Ooh, yeah, we're getting a lot of re-entry. A lot of re-entry heat. Barely see the ship. I'm sure it's fine. No one's gonna be mad that you're basically burning 6 nuclear reactors in the middle high atmosphere. We're gonna capture, and let's see what the final orbit turns out to be. It looks really promising. And the effects are dying off. We are almost not decelerating anymore. It's time to accelerate the final bit, and yeah, if we do a anti-radial burn on this, should have a really good orbit, except for that it's inclined like 40 degrees. But never mind. Let's do this burn to raise our periapps and lower our apoapps at the same time, which is exactly what we want to do in this situation. Let's a little more. Yes. And that looks pretty good. The guys, Jeb and Bill and Bob, are home, basically. We are in a stable, low orbit above Kerbin. So let's go get them. We're launching the first rocket in like 20 episodes. It's amazing. This is an unmanned, modified Kerbal X. We basically made this as simple as possible. And we are just gonna go up, dock, get the Kerbals over, and get back down, because the lander is not equipped to land, ironically enough, on Kerbin. It doesn't have parachutes, it's not, you can't separate the command pod. Of course, I could try like a hardware assisted braking. I have engines and all, but then again, you're probably gonna end up smashing nuclear reactors into Kerbin, and no one's gonna be happy if I do that. And you know, this is a completely valid option. So we're getting into orbit, staging for the last time, and using a poodle to do the final burn. So we have this craft is equipped with the basic necessities. We have parachutes, we have the decoupler, we have a docking port, a shielded docking port. And I think these guys are pretty tired of waiting around, so I'm just gonna use some of the spare fuel to get myself into an orbit that is going to rendezvous with the craft within one orbit, because I can afford it and they're worth it. So we're flying around, and there we are, coming up on the encounter. Almost there, and yeah, we can just sit and watch this, because it was not very complicated. You're just coming in with a rather high relative velocity, killing it as you approach, making sure the velocity vectors are somewhat aligned with the direction. So we have killed our velocity, and one fault of this craft is that it doesn't have any RCS system, but the Eeloo lander does. However, these are probably the least aligned thrusters I have ever flown, because this craft has been picked apart and put back together several times over, and several of the components, so nothing is aligned with anything else, but we're still generally flying in the direction of the target, and fortunately the target can turn to match. So here we are, we're almost there, getting some lights. I'm just gonna do the final docking. Actually, we should turn this to match the docking port, the docking hatches, or the crew hatches. So let's admire it in the sunlight. This looks pretty good, and the alignment is perfect. So the Kerbals can just climb over, really easy, and we don't need to transfer any fuel. So I'm just gonna leave this craft in orbit and deorbit this one. And when I've done that, we should have fulfilled the mission requirements for this space program. Now, we can't land near Kerbal Space Center, but we can get a landing site in the ocean. So I'm going to try to do that, because it's the sensible thing to do. Okay, so we're entering the atmosphere, and I'm going to separate the spacecraft before we get the re-entry effects. This is about now. Yeah, that was really close, because we're already getting flames. Oh, and I accidentally activated the parachute. Doesn't matter, we don't have dead re-entry. We're breaking the atmosphere. Yeah, there goes the parachute. No problem, they're obviously made of asbestos. So everything's good, it's safe. And we're just gonna skip the part where they're flying towards the surface, and we're deploying the parachutes. Here we go. So that's it. Bill, Jeb, and Bob are home. We have fulfilled all the mission requirements. Thank you for watching so much. I'll see you next time. Bye!